Hi, my name is Jillian Walker, and today I'll be going over some of the steps and the process of making a charcuterie board, in case you guys ever want to make your own charcuterie board or start getting into making those. So first up, I want to show you some of the boards I've made in the past. This first one down here closest to me is a board I made last Thanksgiving. I decided to make that one pretty last minute. So I just kind of rummaged around the house and looked for what was in my pantry and fridge and just threw some stuff together, but I still think it came out pretty well. Those brown and white swirls are actually cut up pieces of Swiss rolls, and I just had some pieces of cheese and I just kind of threw some stuff together. Then next to that one, with the watermelon and the green grapes, that is the first charcuterie board I ever made. Um, that one I had to make for about 4 people, so not a ton of cheese or not a very big board in comparison to the Thanksgiving one. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to mess around and see what I could create, and it was a lot of fun as my first one. Then next to that one, we have one that I made for the 4th of July. And at this gathering, I knew there was going to be several younger children, so I wanted to make sure to include some items on the board that I knew they would like to eat. So I have some very basic cheddar cheese pieces, some pretty plain crackers, and then I have some mini cupcakes on there that I thought they would like. Um, and yeah, then I have some other stuff for the adults as well. Then above that one, I have another small charcuterie board, which was for a smaller event. I'd say maybe like 7 or 8 people were there, and there was also other appetizers and snacks, so I was able to make that one a bit smaller. Then next to that one, we have a Christmas board, which was for a small group as well, only about 5 or 6. So that's why I only have one piece of cheese on there, and then I have some other fun festive stuff like peppermint cookies and some mini chocolate covered cheesecake bites. And then my final one that I have on the slide is the one on the blue tray. I made that one for a pretty large birthday party, but I knew that I wasn't going to be the only one bringing a snack or an appetizer. So it's pretty sizable, but still not too big since I wasn't the only one feeding about 25 to 30 people. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential for creating boards, but there are a few things you need to consider if you want to start making charcuterie boards for events or other gatherings. First up, you need to consider quantity. How many people are you going to need to feed, and will there be other food there? So, as I was kind of explaining in some of the other um, pictures of the boards that I have, if you know that there's going to be other appetizers or snacks at the event, your board doesn't need to be as big or have as much stuff on it. Um, so, yeah, the smaller the group, the smaller your board can be. I would say if you have from 5 to 7 people, you can probably get away with only one piece of cheese. Um, I typically sit around either the one piece of cheese range or 3 pieces of cheese for like maybe 15 and up. You can do about 3 pieces of cheese for, and that usually works pretty well. You also need to consider your demographic. Who will be eating? Kids, picky eaters, any allergies? If you have kids that will be eating on your charcuterie board, you need to make sure that you have items on there that feel kid friendly to them, something that they feel like they can reach and get on the board that is for them. Um, so, as you could see on some of my boards, I had very simple cheddar cheese, plain crackers, and a sweet treat. A lot of the times, kids will love to eat fruit off the charcuterie board. Berries and grapes are pretty popular with kids as well. If you have picky eaters, even if they're not necessarily kids, you still might want to have a pretty simple cheese on there and maybe some plain crackers for them so they also feel like they can enjoy your board too. It's also always great to have a fun sweet treat on your board, I found. And of course, allergies. Nuts are a big thing I like to put on my charcuterie board, so it's so important to make sure that no one's going to have a nut allergy or any other allergy for that matter at your party or event that might end up on your charcuterie board that would make it not safe for them to eat. Then we get away from the more practical aspects of things to consider and the more fun design elements to include, and that's theme. Are you going to a holiday party, a themed event? How can you theme your board around the theme of your event? So as you could see on some of my other boards, I had the Christmas board, so I had some peppermint bits on the cookies. My 4th of July board is very themed. That one's usually a pretty easy one to theme because you can do color palettes. You could do red and blue berries, white with cheese. You could do brie or white cheddar. And then you can usually do jams. It's easy to find a blue jam or a darker color jam or a red jam to include as well, and spreads. You can also get themed cheese knives to put on. Yeah, it's pretty easy to theme your board. Thanksgiving, that can be a hard one to theme, but usually I'll try and do a fall color palette if I want to do a Thanksgiving board. And then cohesion. Does your flavor profile go together? Do all the items on your board go together? Consider both visual and flavor. Does it look like something on the board is kind of the odd man out? If so, what can you add that can either bring that together through flavor profile or visual interest? So if you just have olives on your board with a bunch of other like sweet cheeses, dried fruits, nuts, that kind of stuff, how can you tie in those olives to the rest of your flavor and visual profile? Maybe you'll put some pickles on there, maybe some bruschetta, really bring in that salty flavor with like a kick of vinegar or spice. You could do pepper jelly, something like that. And then finally, a lot of people think that charcuterie boards can be very expensive to make, and that is true if you're not looking in the right places. I found that Aldi is one of the most cost-effective grocery stores to get supplies at when you're looking to make a charcuterie board, especially their specialty cheeses are a lot cheaper compared to grocery stores like Publix. Also, the beauty of doing a charcuterie board is that you can just find whatever you have lying around your house. So a lot of the times I'll just check in the fridge and find some fruit, some nuts that I have around, trail mix packets. I'll sprinkle trail mix around. I'll cut up, I have chocolate chip bread that I've put on and cut up, or little pastries that I've cut up and put on. So yeah, a lot of the times I really just find myself, when I go shopping for a charcuterie board, really picking up either the specialty cheeses and crackers, and a lot of the times the rest of the stuff I'll just find in my fridge or pantry or wherever around the house. As far as prep goes, I found that it usually takes about 30 minutes to put together a charcuterie board from start to finish. So I like to go shopping a couple days in advance before I know I'm going to put it together, just so I know that that's taken care of and I don't have to worry about that, especially if I'm making a board on a holiday. Go ahead and get the shopping part out of the way. And yeah, putting a charcuterie board together can be a lot easier than you expect. And up next, I'm going to show you guys a breakdown of me assembling a charcuterie board. I hope you enjoy.